And welcome everybody to another episode of Wrong Side Simulations, bringing the best content for the wrong side of the airplane here over in the right seat. And a little bit different episode for you on this one. This one is pre-recorded. Obviously we typically do live streams, but I wanted to bring y'all along for my first full flight with the track IR that I was very fortunate enough to win at World Flight. Yeah, wanted to kind of show maybe what, if all goes well, the new head movements that we'll be able to have in live streams. I've been working a little bit trying to figure this thing out and get used to it. I think I've got it down, so I was like, you know what, let's do a real quick flight from DCA over to Norfolk, Virginia, where we'll be able to make a pretty cool hard banking takeoff, climb out of DCA, and then do an RNAV / visual approach, river visual to runway 5 in Norfolk. So without further ado, let's get going. Get that taxi light on. Now in addition to track R, we're also running FS Realistic, which is adding some of the other camera movements. You'll see shaking, you'll see breathing, stuff like that. Adds a little bit more immersion. And then I've also got the butt kicker going. So couple these three things together, and it's you'd think it'd be relatively immersive. So that's kind of what we're going to test here. And got our ground chart over there. Figure out where the hell we're at and where we're going. Pretty straightforward. Looks like we are clear over there to the left and clear to the right. Sun's bright in this early morning. I am doing my own controlled environment so that I can take off and land on what runways that I want. So it's an early morning here in DC, calm winds, all that good stuff. Let's just bring that back on over here. We'll be down to the end of the runway relatively quick, so we'll roll through our before takeoff flow. This thing's definitely a little bit of a learning curve, as well as a little bit getting used to. It's definitely a little more of a challenge to click those switches while your head's moving around a bit, but it's not too bad. And you can change sensitivity, speed things up, slow things down, turn off certain axes, stuff like that. And we are headed over to runway 1, so we're going to continue straight ahead on Juliet. We'll cross 4 at Juliet and go all the way down. Looks like we're clear on the approach end of that runway, runway 4, and from the best I can see. So we'll get those landing lights on, strobes, wings, all the lights, right? Max visibility. Runway now. Let's put those lights off. The more bindings you have, the easier it is to run track IR. And we're gonna hold short, roll through a quick checklist, and be on our way. brakes set. And before takeoff checklist, runway 1 is confirmed inside and outside. Flaps 5-5 green light. Nav brief is complete. Takeoff warning checked. See, auto throttle is armed. Instart switch is continuous. Transponder to TARA, and flight attendants notified and acknowledged. Alright, we are ready to go. Let's rock and roll. Clear on the approach. And clear down the runway from what we can see till we get this turn started. Now what helps me quite a bit with the track IR is that I have a 55-inch monitor, so I don't have to move my eyes as much as maybe somebody else would. That was a terrible lineup. Alright, there's runway heading 007. Spool them up 40. And let's go. Startle hold thrust normal. And we got pause rate. Let's go gear up. It's 400 feet. Go on now. Bank. Thousand feet VNAV. And bring that nose down. That nose get way up. Accelerates. We almost fell out the airplane there. Definitely a different sensation. It'll take a bit of getting used to hand flying and using track IR, especially if you move around a bit, want to look around a bit. Flaps up. Pilot 8 command. Alright, well, so that's the takeoff, and we'll pick things back up once we're on approach into Norfolk, Virginia. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and we are on approach into Norfolk, Virginia. We'll be shooting the RNAV Yankee RMP approach to runway 5. As you can see, just about the entire approach exists within 5 miles of the runway. There's a 5-mile range ring we've got there. So once we cross Murphy at 5,000, we're going to drop our altitude down to 1,000, and let's go to flaps 5. And that is because you cannot, on the approach mode in the airplane, on a in the 737, on an RNAV approach until on final approach course. Alright, so let's go ahead and drop it down. So the missed approach altitude is 2,000 feet. If we were to put in 2,000 in the altitude box on the MCP, the airplane would level off at 2,000 while the glide path would continue to go below us, and we would be too high on the approach. So I would have to put that down. Why is that? Hello. The airplane does not want to come down. So yeah, so once we're established on the approach, or on final approach course, then we'll change this from 1,000 to the missed approach altitude of 2,000. The track IR so far is working really nice. Makes looking around a bit more seamless, and easier to do without having to manipulate the mouse at all. Alright, let's go gear down. Flaps 15. And disregard the terrible ground textures. The mod that I used to implement the Google ground textures was not loading the textures. Thus, it looks like we're flying offline. So disregard that. Flaps 25. Slow the boards, arm spoilers, clear to land. Flaps 30. Landing checklist. Landing gear down. Flaps 30. 30 green light. Speed brake is armed, it start switches to continuous. Let me check this complete. Alright, final approach course. Glide path. Approach altitude set. Looking good. There's the runway.
1,000.
Seems like it's struggling to hold that final approach course. It's correcting. My airplane.
Approaching minimums. Minimums.
Man, no braking. Alright, clear on the left, clear on the right. We'll get that APU started up, because we're so close to the terminal. Alright, we'll clean her up. And I would say that I do think I like this track IR. It does take a bit of getting used to, and it can make hitting button switches a little bit harder, but I'm pretty sure it's easy to acclimate to, and it does make life a bit easier. Right after landing checklist, NSR switches are off, flaps are up, speed brakes down, and radar's off. And let's say we're going to go to gate 24. Just don't know if it's alpha. Wish we had wing walkers in GSX. Alright, brakes are set. Let them up, shut them down. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that will conclude this little episode of Wrong Side Simulations. And I want to thank y'all for watching if you've watched this far. Greatly appreciate all of my channel members. Thank y'all so much for the support. We'll be out of the streaming game for about the next week or two. Let's see, SD board. Got one more day of work tomorrow, and I'm recording this on the morning of the 16th. One more day of work, and then headed home to Louisiana for about 5 days. I'm gonna do a little pre-Thanksgiving with the family, then fly back home to Orlando, and I have 2 days of work, and then we are back to normal. We'll be back to streaming, and it's gonna be back to a damn good time. Alright guys, thank y'all so much for watching, and until next time, be good at it, and keep it on the wrong side. See ya!